Welcome to Lesson 4.4, Incident Reports and Reporting Procedures. Not every shift will go exactly as planned. Falls, injuries, medication concerns, behavioral events, property damage, transportation incidents, allegations of abuse, and other unexpected events may occur. When an incident happens, your first responsibility is the client's immediate safety. After the situation has been appropriately addressed, the incident must be reported and documented according to agency procedures. This lesson will teach you how to recognize an incident and document it accurately and professionally. An incident is generally an unexpected event or situation that affects or could affect the safety or well-being of a client. Not every incident results in an injury. For example, a client may nearly fall but be safely assisted before reaching the floor. That event may still be important because it could indicate a change in mobility or an increased safety risk. If you are unsure whether something should be reported as an incident, contact your supervisor. Do not decide to hide or ignore an event simply because no one appeared to be injured. Many different situations may require an incident report or other agency reporting. Falls and injuries are common examples, but they are not the only incidents care partners should recognize. A client wandering away from supervision, a transportation accident, an allegation of abuse, missing property, or a serious client complaint may also require immediate reporting. Follow Agnes and Sandy's Caring Hands policies for determining which events require an incident report and what additional actions are required. Documentation is important, but it is never the first priority during an emergency. Your first responsibility is to recognize what has happened and protect the client from additional harm. Follow your training and agency emergency procedures. If emergency assistance is required, obtain it according to agency policy. Notify the appropriate supervisor as required. Once the immediate situation has been addressed, complete the necessary documentation. Remember, stop, protect, respond, report, and document. If the client is experiencing an emergency, do not sit down and complete an incident report before obtaining help. Documentation comes after the immediate response. Follow the client's emergency instructions and agency procedures. Contact emergency services when required. Then notify the appropriate agency representative as soon as possible according to policy. After the client is safe and the appropriate notifications have been made, complete the required documentation. Falls must always be taken seriously. If a client falls, remain calm and follow your training and agency procedures. Do not automatically lift the client from the floor. The client may have an injury that is not immediately obvious, and attempting to move them could make the situation worse. Obtain appropriate assistance and notify your supervisor. Document what you observed, what the client reported, what actions were taken, and the notifications made. Never hide a fall because the client says they are fine. A near fall can provide important information about a client's safety. Suppose a client begins to fall while walking, but you safely support them before they reach the floor. The absence of an injury does not automatically mean the event is unimportant. The client may be experiencing new weakness, balance problems, or a change in mobility. Report significant changes and document the event according to agency procedures. Suspected abuse, neglect, or exploitation requires immediate attention and must be handled according to applicable reporting requirements and agency policy. If a client tells you something concerning, listen carefully and remain calm. Do not conduct your own investigation or interrogate the client. Do not promise to keep the information secret. Protect the client from immediate danger, follow required reporting procedures, and document the client's statements accurately. Direct client statements can be especially important when documenting an incident. When possible and appropriate, document significant statements using the client's own words. If a client says, "He grabbed my arm last night," document that statement accurately. Do not transform the statement into a conclusion that you are not qualified or authorized to make. Your role is to document what the client reported and follow the required reporting procedures. Daily notes and incident reports serve different purposes. A daily note documents the routine care and significant events that occurred during your shift. An incident report provides more specific information about an unexpected or reportable event. Depending on agency procedures, you may be required to complete both. Do not assume that writing about an incident in your daily note means an incident report is unnecessary. Likewise, completing an incident report does not automatically replace other required documentation. An incident report should contain enough factual information to explain what occurred. Document the date, time, and location of the incident. Identify the individuals involved and any witnesses when required. Describe what you personally observed. Document relevant client statements. Explain the actions taken and identify who was notified. The goal is to create a clear factual record, not to assign blame. Incident documentation must remain objective. Only document information you know to be true or clearly identify information reported to you by another person. Do not fill gaps in the story with assumptions. Do not diagnose injuries or medical conditions outside your role. Do not use the incident report to blame another employee, family member, or client. State the facts and allow the appropriate people to review the incident. Specific documentation is especially important in incident reports. If you did not actually see the client fall, do not write that you witnessed the fall. Instead, document what you observed when you entered the room. For example, care partner entered living room and observed client seated on the floor beside the chair. Likewise, if the client says their arm hurts, document their statement rather than diagnosing an injury. There is an important difference between witnessed and unwitnessed incidents. If you personally saw the event occur, document what you observed. If you entered a room after an event occurred, document what you found. For example, do not write, "Client fell out of chair," if you did not see the client fall. You may document that you entered the room and observed the client on the floor beside the chair. Accuracy matters. An incident report should explain not only what happened, but also how you responded. If you stayed with the client, document that. If emergency services were contacted, document that according to agency procedures. If you notified your supervisor, include that notification. If you received instructions from an authorized person and followed those instructions, document that appropriately. This helps create a clear timeline of the response. Notifications are an important part of incident documentation. When the documentation system allows, include who you contacted and approximately when the notification occurred. For example, documenting that the supervisor was notified at 2:15 p.m. provides more information than simply writing "supervisor notified." When relevant, document instructions you received and actions you took in response. Never document that someone was notified if you did not actually contact them. This example demonstrates objective incident documentation. Notice that the care partner does not claim to know exactly how the client reached the floor. The fall was not witnessed, so the documentation clearly states that fact. The client's own statement is included. The response and supervisor notification are documented chronologically. There are no assumptions about injuries or blame. If an incident occurs because of an error or mistake, the incident must still be reported honestly. Never hide what happened because you are afraid of getting in trouble. Never ask another employee to change their story. Never alter times or create information to make the incident appear different. Accurate reporting allows the agency to respond appropriately, protect the client, and determine whether corrective action is necessary. Use this formula whenever an unexpected incident occurs. First, safety. Make sure the client is protected from immediate harm. Second, response. Follow emergency or agency procedures. Third, report. Notify the appropriate person. Fourth, document. Create an accurate factual record. Finally, follow up. Carry out authorized instructions and complete any additional documentation required. Incident reporting is an important responsibility for every care partner. Your first responsibility is always safety. Respond appropriately to the situation. Report the incident through the required channels. Then document exactly what happened. Use objective language, include important statements, identify your actions and notifications, and never change the facts. If you did not witness an event, say that clearly. Accurate incident reporting protects clients and helps the agency identify concerns, respond appropriately, and improve the quality and safety of care. You have now completed Section 4, Documentation. Throughout this section, you learned the importance of accurate and professional documentation, how to complete daily care notes, how to understand and follow client care plans, and how to properly report and document incidents. Remember, good documentation is an essential part of quality care. Always be accurate, objective, timely, and professional. Document the care you provide, report important changes or concerns, and never falsify or alter client records. Thank you for completing Section 4. We'll see you in Section 5 for your final review, where we'll bring everything you've learned throughout this training together.